Good evening, everybody. My name is Matthew Chukwueke, and the topic today I will be discussing is robotics. And I will be discussing their role that they play in our economy. Now, most of you may be familiar with the topic that many people discuss about, oh, robotics are going to take all the jobs in our economy. What are people going to do? Robotics are just going to rule the world or something like that. And I'm here to tell you that today, robotics will ultimately enhance the human employment situation, and it will actually give new opportunities rather than take them away. So what I'd like to begin with is the fact that as the presence of robotics grow in the industry, the whole point of using them is that they boost production. And when production is boosted in the economy, it also allows new businesses to come into play. And if new businesses come, they will also need new employees. And even if there's robotics in our situation, there still needs to be people that can maintain and operate them. Yes, there's machines that can, operate themselves, but who's going to turn them on? Who's going to maintain them? Who's going to keep those machines well oiled at all times? And even with robotics, there's many things that people have to consider. Robotics, although they are very capable, they're only very efficient compared to humans in situations where it's single repeated tasks, where it's lift a box, place it over here, and do it 50 times, throughout the day or so. But they can't account for situations that are outside of what they're programmed. The machine is only as smart as what the person designed and created them to be. So if there's ever an issue that comes up, say, that machine's stacking boxes and one of them tips over and falls on the ground, the machine wasn't programmed to be like, oh, something fell over, let me pick it up. But a human can, because humans are more flexible, the brain's way more complex than the machine will ever be. And we're years from even understanding how the brain works. So before anyone even starts to begin to worry about, can the machine take my job, someone has to learn how the brain works in order to program it to think like us. And so I'd like to go on to the fact that the more that machines advance in our society, the more that society is going to become advanced with them. So even though some very low jobs, such as box stacking in like an industry environment, may be taken, that's also going to emphasize that education needs to be boosted in our society. One major thing that happens with businesses in our economy is they're always given incentives by the government. If they see that one thing works over the other, they're going to either boost funding for that program, or they're going to allow for companies to increase in that area. So rather than people settling for jobs that are easy to get, saying, oh, I can just work in a factory rather than head to college and increase my level of education, sometimes they just settle. And with robotics taking out the play of just the simple jobs that anyone can sign up for, it allows us to strive for more than what's available to us. Moving forward from that, I'd also like to address the fear that artificial intelligence is going to outpace us. And one simple thing I want to say, just to calm any fear about that, is that in order to create artificial intelligence that surpasses humans, someone has to be at that level of intelligence in the first place. So that was just something I wanted to get settled before anyone says anything else. Along with that, with machinery being introduced into industry, it's also going to allow for safer working environments. Now, one of the biggest problems with working in a factory environment is that there's many dangers. Coming from personal experience, I used to work in a bottling factory, a winery actually, and one of the biggest fears is there's always equipment moving around, there's cranes being lifted, and employees constantly have to be on the watch because if they make one wrong move, if they're not paying attention, their arm could be cut off by a machine, might be crushed in something that they're lifting, and there's also exposure to chemicals. So according to the Permanent Committee on Technology and Safety, one of the main chemicals that people are exposed to in a working environment is caustic. And this is used in industry for mostly just cleaning purposes, but it's used for cleaning everything when it comes to floors, any type of tank that they're holding food or drinks in that they're manufacturing. And the problem with this chemical is that it's highly acidic, and coming into contact with it, even breathing in the fumes can cause problems. Like I said, coming from my personal experience, I remember coming back from work one day and I had an asthma attack for the first time, realizing that I'd been exposed to chemicals for way too long. But things like this, if robotics are more heavily involved into our society, we can keep some of these safety precautions and hazards out of the way. And so with that, yeah, with that, that is my presentation. Thank you for your time.
All right, Matthew, a couple of things that I think worked well to begin with. I think you do a nice job speaking to the audience. You've got a calm delivery. You explain things. You tell us what your premises are for the most part, and it's easy to follow and appreciate what you're saying as I'm listening to it. It sounds good. However, there are issues when it comes to the structure of the argument and the content of the argument that are pretty substantial. Your proposition, for instance, to begin with, is actually phrased as two propositions. They basically mirror each other, saying the same thing, but you've got a duplicate claim that you've got as part of your proposition. There's no preview of what the supporting structure is going to consist of. So listeners, if they're paying close attention, they'll probably be able to follow and pick out a structure. But I got to be honest with you, I don't think that most listeners do that. I think you did a good job trying to identify why there's a controversy and why people need to talk about this. You want to allay their fears. But then it becomes the argument, have you in fact allayed their fears? The first piece of evidence that gets cited in the speech is 4 minutes into the speech, and it mostly just talks about what kinds of chemicals are available in the factories. There is no information that talks about how productivity increases businesses and that businesses as a result are going to increase jobs. There's no information that says that robot efficiency is very limited. You've got a hypothetical example here on a stack, on the stack of boxes example, but I know that there's a lot of technology out there that does address those kinds of issues. So they can, let's face it, the damn bagging section at the self-checkout lane. If you don't have the bag in there, it figures out that you don't have the bag in there. What's going on there? It tells you put a bag in there. So if they can figure that out, all they need now is the electronic arm to rip that bag out. I'm not exactly sure that your presuppositions and your assumptions here are valid. And without any evidence to back them up, I think that's a little bit problematic. The same thing is true on your idea that the government's going to respond by increasing education and that sort of stuff. You make the assumption that people take these jobs because they're lazy or they just settle. I think there's a lot of people that just aren't particularly skilled. There are folks that don't have the intellectual capacity for doing some things. Math is hard for some people. Writing is difficult. Reading is something that they don't do well with. People have all kinds of problems. So the notion that all these people that are going to be losing these low-level jobs are going to be able to be trained to be able to do something else that's more intellectually stimulating, that's a huge presupposition, and you need some kind of information to support it. One of the things that I think the response speaker is probably going to look at is what are the most typical jobs out there, and I'll give you the one that, the job that more people have than any other job in the United States. You guys know what it is? Truck driver. Okay? In 10 years, what do they keep saying is going to happen with... they're all going to be self-driving stuff. So I'm wondering, what are we going to take these 2 million people that are truck drivers and put them in? You got to be able to give us some idea about what's going on there. I mean, these are low-skilled jobs, and they got to be able to do something else. And you're saying they're going to fix the machines. I'm sorry, that's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory stuff. His dad loses the job of making the chocolate, but he gets the job fixing the machine that makes the chocolate. Yeah, but what about all the other Oompa Loompas who lost their jobs? I think that's the problem there. You've got to have some proof on this, and I think that that's what's missing in here. There's just a lot of assertions, a lot of assumptions, and there's not any data to back it up. All right, thank you.